Hey guys, Alex Sutherland here, and today I'm going to do a demo video on how to use the strategy locking feature in GTORB to compute minimally exploitative strategies. Now, for those of you who are curious, about the theory behind minimally exploitative strategies, why you'd use them, why you'd use strategy locking to run GTO calcs, I have a whole separate, longer video on that shows, slides on the theory, how to do it in simple post-flop. This video is just going to be a demo video on how to do it in the GTORB interface. So, let's take a look. Usually the way I like to do this is I like to start by first running a pure GTO solution and look at the strategy. And then sometimes I'll come up with a scenario where I look at the way my opponent is supposed to play, and I'll say most of the people I play against don't play this way. This is not what I actually run into at the tables. And so I'd like to see, how much I can gain by adjusting from playing the GTO strategy if I know that my opponent's not actually going to play a GTO response, but I assume that he will play well later in the hand. So what I'm going to look at here is a cutoff versus big blind scenario where the cutoff opened 2.5x, the big blind called, and everyone else folded. Pretty standard opening range and a reasonably standard big blind defense range. And I'm not going to worry about these two ranges too much. I'm mostly trying to show you guys how you can do this kind of calculation yourself in GTORB. So when I saw the solution, I noticed that I think a lot of opponents don't actually check raise nearly enough on this board. I don't think they check raise 20.7%. And this is a hand from my in position c-betting strategy pack, where I went through a few different variations of minimally exploited play against opponent types who don't play optimally. So you can check out that pack for more depth on why the scenario is interesting, how to analyze it. Here I'm just going to show you how to use GTORB to do it. But what I would do when I find a spot like this is I would want to take a look at locking in suboptimal strategies in this node where I don't think my opponent actually plays that way. And the easiest way to do that is to go into the GTO strategy and to copy the strategy string that is below here. And then exit the scenario, go to Customize Game Tree, and go to that same node in my editable game tree here and click the Lock Strategy button. And this will open the strategy setter tool. And I could always start from scratch. I don't have to use any existing string. I don't have to run a GTO calculation first. I could say, I think he's going to call with, hands like that. I'm making these up. I don't even know that's sensible. Maybe mix calling and raising with hands like this, and so on. I could build a strategy from scratch. But often I find it a little easier to paste in the GTO strategy and then look at altering my opponent's strategy a little bit. So if I feel that my opponent's not quite as aggressive with check raises as the GTO strategy, I might say, I don't think most of my opponents actually ever check raise me with ace queen off. Or, some of these weaker top pairs, I don't think they check raise queen 5. And I can start editing the strategy on these specific hand combos until I feel like I've reduced the kind of aggression of my opponent to about where I want it to be. So maybe I'll take out some of these check raises, turn them into floats with overcards, and maybe take out just a couple of these kind of semi-bluffs. Maybe I'll semi-bluff a little less with, some of these top pair hands, and take out, 2s and 3s. Maybe just turn the 2s into a fold. Obviously that depends on opponent type. Plenty of people would call there, but this is just an example. And then when I'm done, I can hit lock strategy. And you'll notice a little lock icon here appears on the node that I've locked. And what's important to know is I can cut and paste any strategy string from any solution I've already computed into the tree builder to use it to run a new solution, so long as the options at that node are the same. So I can only cut and paste a strategy where the options for the villain are to call 36.3, fold to 36.3, or raise to 110. I couldn't cut and paste in a strategy from a different game tree that had different bet sizes. Maybe it had 4 options instead of 3. Cutting and pasting in like that won't work. But since we had the exact same game tree and I'm just tweaking what to do with this node, this will work just fine. And I can go back here, click solve, and it says this will take about 10 minutes. But with the magic of video editing, it's done already. And if we click it, it'll open our solution here. And just like in the tree builder, we can see this node is now listed as locked. The c-bet frequency went down, of course, or the check raise frequency rather went down. And as a result, it turns out to be optimal for the hero to always c-bet against this less aggressive opponent. We can open up the node and confirm that it is exactly the strategy we set, where we fixed ace queen, ace jack, king queen suited, switched some of these that were occasionally check raised to calls, king 5, queen 5, etc. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully this helps you guys out if you're having trouble figuring out how to use this feature. If you have any questions, please post in the comments or email GTORangeBuilder@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.